Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Crabby Morning. My name is Dylan and I am joined with...
Your boy Liam.
Me too, John is here as well. Also.
And Kayla.
And today we are going to be talking about jobs and work culture. So for this podcast, I wanted to ask you guys, since we are up-and-coming young adults...
Yeah.
Yes, we are teenagers. Yes.
I wouldn't consider
I mean, we already are young adults, but you know what I mean. There's a lot of expectations for, at least in America, for us to work a lot, and that kind of leads people to not really have like a work-life balance, so it's more like work. So how do you guys feel about that idea as a whole, I guess I'm asking?
I don't enjoy it, but that's just how the system's set up, and that's just how we have to do it. But if I were to change it, I would be like, we don't need this. There would be a 3-day weekend. Friday, you don't work on Fridays. Everything's closed except for like emergency essentials like police, fire department, hospitals, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And grocery stores. I mean, people need food. Okay.
We don't need food.
Yeah, just grow some crops. But yeah, just like more time to, hang out with your family and friends and more time to decompress from the week and stuff and bring the stress levels down.
Mm-hmm. And I agree with that too, because there are a few countries that have already implemented a 4-day work week.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as right now, it seems to be, as far as the statistics go, the amount of work that gets done is actually much better than a 5-day work week.
Yeah.
And just because people have more time to really like de-stress and not have to like feel exhausted every time they go to and from work.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that is very beneficial.
I would also say that cutting back from working 9 hours or more would be beneficial as well, because you literally work from when you first get up and then you come home and it's time to go to bed, so you don't really have time to do anything else.
I feel that for sure, because my job involves a lot of manual labor. I work 8 to 5, and a job's not too hard. I don't mind doing it, but I am just so exhausted when I get home.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll go home, eat food, take a shower, and then I just want to sleep. It's only like 6 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel more satisfaction when you have a job than when you didn't have a job, Liam?
Well, I guess I would say that I enjoyed my time more without having a job, but it's nice to interact with many different people at my job. And my coworkers are all very nice and helpful, and they're still teaching me many things about the job I'm currently working at.
Cool. Opinions?
I don't mind working per se. It's just, I just don't like the feeling of you have to work to survive.
Yeah, I haven't been to that yet.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty much for me. Like, I don't mind it. I like working because I get that feeling of accomplishment once I clock out.
Mm-hmm.
But I also don't like working because I know I have to survive, and it's not something I really enjoy doing, the job-wise.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if I was to create, I guess, my own business doing something I personally enjoy, it wouldn't be so bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I can still have that feeling of accomplishment at the end of the day, but I wouldn't also have like that nagging feeling of like I have to get up in the morning and go work for something I hate.
Mm-hmm. And people also, they'll find themselves in very like unfair working conditions.
Yeah.
Whereas like it's kind of a job that they need to do because they need to pay the bills and everything. So they kind of feel like they have to stay there and take whatever like they're given at the job, even if it's like,
Well,
against the, your own rights, I guess.
Well, there's some jobs out there that just don't pay more than minimum wage, and that's where people have to work 2 or 3 jobs to survive.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's just terrible because at that point you're just worried about paying your bills and all the stress you accumulate from work, the 3 jobs. And then if you have friends or family that you care or are around a lot with and are precious to you, it just keeps piling up.
Yeah.
So I just don't like, as Kayla was saying, that you have to work so much to survive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sure, you need to like put some effort in because you don't want to just sit there and do nothing. But just like my stepmom, she worked in a hospital, and she would put in like 80 hours because she'd have to be there so much,
Right.
and she would just be exhausted physically and mentally,
Mm-hmm.
and she'd just come home from work, sleep for like almost the whole day.
Yeah. The going back to the things about the conditions, the workers have to be respected.
Yeah.
Because if they're not respected, then they're not going to want to do the job, and then that leads to people like half-assing things and not really not really fulfilling their job to the fullest because they know that nobody really cares. They just they just expect them to do their job, and then that's it. But I think there's like a certain line between like doing a good job and being treated fairly.
Mm-hmm. That's another thing is it just how some companies treat their workers poorly is just mind-boggling to me because it's just, why are you treating all these people so horribly so you can make a few $1 million? Well, you don't help them out. The people who run the whole business, you're just the figurehead. You're just the guy with the name and the brand.
Mm-hmm.
But the people down on the floor are the people who are putting it all together.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and because those voices aren't heard, that's why strikes happen. A lot of worker strikes.
I mean, I feel as though that they're heard, they just don't care.
Well, that's true too.
Yeah,
when I say heard, I mean like sorry to interrupt you, but when I say heard, I mean like actually acted upon.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Like Amazon had a strike, and I know I don't know how long it lasted, but I think it was like 2 days or something, 3 days. I'm not exactly sure, but one of the car companies had a strike. I think it was 2 years ago or something like that, but it lasted like a month or two.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually they came with a compromise and stuff, and it got settled, but not all the time it happens.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big risk because if it doesn't occur the way that you want it to, then it's just like you just ended your whole career.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So people would be scared to speak out, and that's kind of where these things arise. And the not caring thing is like, what are you going to do about it? Like, at the end of the day, I'm in charge, and that's, I think, what.
And sometimes they can't, because if they lose that job, they lose everything. So it's really like, that's why it's good to have unions in a lot of different stores, like grocery stores, or jobs. Because at least unions will kind of help with that. I have a union at my job, but
They do crap, honestly.
No, they don't. I mean, they just like, I still believe like it's good to have a good union, not a bad union, because like, at least with a good union, you have someone representing you. Like, say you like got fired unfairly, and then you have someone to back you up. But most of the time, if you have a bad union, then they don't care, like you're saying.
Yeah, they can just have another person fill that slot.
Yeah.
You're just a number to them.
Yeah.
Going back to the Amazon topic, the company that is, It's kind of worrying how many people at my current job have left Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
I had a friend who worked for Amazon about a month until she put out an application for another job. So it's a little unnerving for the conditions at Amazon. If it's is it really that bad? I've never
Yeah.
worked there.
My
so.
my sister worked there, and she said they'd freak out if she used the bathroom or had water.
Mm.
They'd be like, "You should have been working." She's like, "Well, I need to use the bathroom, so it's just gonna take like a few minutes, and I'll just get right back to work." Like, no, we don't do that here.
Well, it's also horrible to see that like the companies with the highest income end up treating their employees the worst.
Yeah.
And that's very disheartening because that you feel like, you know, the company's like gotten so large to where like if one employee has a bad day, then nobody bats an eye. And then that just sorry, that just leads to a lot of problems.
Yeah, why do we have such large businesses that they can get away with anything? Like they're like, "Oh, darn. We lost some money." They ask the government, "Hey, can we have some more?" They're like, "Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, that's fine."
Because
And then they're like, "Well,
capitalism.
yes."
Yes, true.
And
Or they don't pay taxes. Sometimes Amazon didn't pay any taxes one year.
they paid $0.
$0.
Yeah, a lot of big businesses don't pay any taxes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking one night, I'm like, man, what if they did? How much different would society be? And I thought to myself, probably not any different. But
Societal wise, no, but I mean, I feel like it would be good to have a little extra money from taxes to go towards other things like bettering public schools, for instance.
because how it's supposed to work is everyone contributes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's certain people, Amazon, they just keep and hoard all the money, but they don't put back into the system and circulate through the economy.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least give us a 3-day weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Like just be like, pass a new law, and just be done with it. Be like, all right, 4-day work week, everyone's good to go. All right.
Listen, but if they did a 4-day work week, how would you? Because some people need to work more to be able to pay for the bills.
Yes.
Can they pay the bills?
That's why they
Can
raised
they
the minimum
pay?
wage.
Yes, that's exactly what I was about to say.
So shorten the work week.
Denmark
wage.
pays. Did you know, John? Did you know that Denmark actually pays their McDonald's workers $22 an hour?
Listen,
I
I don't even know
wish.
where Denmark is. Where is Denmark?
It's,
Okay, well they're getting
it's
paid $22 an hour.
I would say, or I'm probably very wrong, but it's near, or in the same region as Italy in Europe.
I think it might be Northern Europe.
Yes.
But anyways, I think it's weird when it's such a big country.
Yeah.
And it might be different for Denmark since they might be, a little smaller than the U.S.
Here's a terrible idea. We just collapse the economy. We just give everyone we just give everyone $1 million, and that's it. Everyone gets $1 million. You can do whatever you want, and it means nothing.
No one would ever work again, and then we'd have no more food, no more water, no more houses.
Well, that's the thing. Like, we don't necessarily want to work, but we have to in order to keep life going.
In order to keep what we have.
Yeah.
Well, that's because it's gotten to a point where, like, even if you're not working, you feel like you have to be at work because working is so intertwined, at least in American culture, that you feel like you have to work every single moment of your whole waking life.
In a way, kind of. Because
We don't retire until we're 65.
if
and
we
then
get to retire.
that's another
Yeah,
thing.
and if retirement doesn't change by then.
They're already thinking about changing it
Mm-hmm.
to like 70.
Well, anyway.
I will survive.
You're gonna get to 70, John?
Yeah.
I honestly don't think I will make it to 70. I would like to, but I don't think I will.
It's because men are more likely to die than
I'm gonna
women.
outlive all y'all.
Yeah, Kayla's gonna live to like 120.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then she'll have little plants that she'll name after each of us, and water them every day in her little old lady chair. In her
I think
home.
With her $60 pots because of rising prices.
yes.
Inflation, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. Inflation.
Yeah, like we get the same pay for most of the jobs, but we don't. Things are getting more expensive, so it's harder and harder to pay for things as the years go on.
Yeah, my
Discount shopping.
True.
exactly extreme couponers. But so my stepdad, when he first got his job working as a maintenance guy for apartments, you know what his deal was for working there? There was an ad in the newspaper. It said a job in an apartment.
Mm-hmm.
So he got a free furnished apartment and a job.
Mm.
Back, I think it was like in the 80s. They don't do that anymore.
Nope. No, they don't. Mm-mm.
They don't do it like they used to in the old
Yeah,
days.
No.
they don't.
I remember way back in the 1960s.
1960s.
I don't know when your father was. This is probably later than the 1960s.
He got this job in the 80s.
19...
Yeah, my mom
Yeah, he
was-
just said the 80s.
My bad. My bad. What a great time. What is it's coming up on 4th of July.
Yeah.
What is your favorite place to go see fireworks?
John, this has nothing to do with the discussion.
That's fine. My favorite spot to go see fireworks would be in my hometown of Oregon.
Oregon.
Yeah, right on the water.
All right.
Yeah, we'd sit on the train tracks. I'm just kidding. We wouldn't sit on the train tracks. But we would sit near them and we'd watch them. They'd be shooting them off in the river. And it was a sight to behold, I tell you what.
Thank you. All right. Dylan,
Dylan.
why don't you finish us off with our question of the day?
John, all right. The question of the day will be, what is a job practice that you wish more businesses would incorporate? And have you ever felt trapped in a job or occupation?
Yes.
Thank you guys so much. Like and subscribe, and have a crabby morning.